Hi, this is Wiley Sharp with Denison Yachting, and I'm really happy to have Laura Jagielski here again with me. Last week we got so many good comments, emails, and calls from y'all from that part one we did on booking a Caribbean charter. So we really appreciate that. Please keep the questions coming. We are at the end of this 5-part series going to do a frequently asked question or a kind of a Q&A video. So, please keep those coming. One thing I didn't ask Laura that I was supposed to in the last video, and I either edited it out or I forgot to ask it, or I don't know, I did something wrong, I guess. I forgot to ask her, what is her area of specialty within the charter industry? Like what kind of charters do you do? What's your area of specialty?
My specialty is catamarans, all-inclusive with fully crewed, so captain, chef on board in the 45 feet and up range, and specifically in the Caribbean cruising area. So that could be the Bahamas, St. Martin, Grenada, USVI, BVI, anywhere in the Caribbean. Okay,
so yeah, we should have asked that last week because a lot of the questions that came in were, do you do this type of charter or that type of charter? So primary focus, crewed yacht catamaran charters in the Caribbean.
Right. I have booked bareboats, but I don't do anything with super yachts, but that is my specialty, is crewed catamarans.
And then, really important, is it Caribbean or Caribbean?
Either or. Tomato.
It's always tomato. Anyways, okay, so today's video, no, it's never tomato. Sorry, Ben, Lloyd, all the other Brits I know, it's always tomato. Anyways, today we want to do a quick video, or I want to ask Laura a bunch of questions on the whole booking process. From the time she initially gets a contact from a prospective client until the day they actually leave to go on their charter. So somebody calls you, they email you. What are you kind of looking to get or learn in that initial phone conversation with the client?
The typical questions I'm going to ask a client is, one, how many people are you looking to go with? That's going to tell me how many cabins I need on the boat. Two, is there a budget you're looking to stay under? Which I know can be difficult for first-time charter guests, might not have an idea how much money they want to spend, but that's going to help, with the search. Three, where do they want to go? Do you want to go in Italy? Do you want to do a Grenada charter? Where is it that they're primarily looking to do a week on a boat? And then with that, it's follow-up with that is when. So that can be a huge piece of the puzzle, because if you're looking to go during a certain time, like say hurricane season, some boats are on the hard for the season. They pull them out, and there are definitely, I guess I would say, less charters available during certain times of the year. So that's also a really important factor. Okay, so budget, how many people, what type of charter, where you want to go, when you want to go, those sort of things. Now, I just want to go off on a little bit of a tangent here. You just mentioned hurricane season. Should you or should you not go on vacation to the Caribbean during hurricane season? Well, that's a loaded question. You can definitely go on vacation during the hurricane season. I would say you absolutely must have travel insurance. And honestly, during June, July, August, I enjoy that time down there because it's quieter. There's less crowds, and you can kind of feel like you have your own little piece of, slice of heaven down there. I mean,
I personally love being down there for that time of the year, like July, August, September. Obviously, with hurricanes, after Irma, I never want to deal with that again. I think we're both on that page. But yeah, hurricane season is a nice, quiet time down in the Caribbean. So, okay, so going kind of back to the thing. So you get, these questions answered. You have an idea of kind of what your client's looking for. So what do you send them a short list of boats that you think kind of meet their needs, and then what kind of happens from there?
Yeah, exactly. I'll send them a list of boats based on what we have talked about in our first couple of conversations. And then we'll kind of go over that list together, pick it apart. Is there something that they really liked on one boat or didn't like on another boat, or like, oh my gosh, yeah, I want king size beds, or no, I gotta have a fly bridge, or ooh, look at that swim platform. So we'll definitely dissect the list and narrow it down.
Okay, and then for this short list, how do you come up with it? The boats that go on your short list, obviously you've got the criteria, but all things being the same, why does a boat end up on your short list versus not up on your short list?
Yeah, so I'm picking boats based off of, have I met the crew, have I been on the boat, is it a boat I would go on? I never send clients boats that I personally couldn't see myself vacationing on.
Okay, no, that's good. So, okay, you've got the short list. You talk to them about it. Now they come back and they say, Laura, I want to go on Anastasia because I want that beautiful king size bed. I want the fly bridge. I just love the Privilege 615 because it's just the most badass catamaran built. Like, what happens there?
Yeah, clients. Okay, so the clients picked Anastasia, it is a great boat, and
They won a bunch of awards last year.
They
yeah,
did, yeah. They did a really good job at the boat shows, and Captain T, and Rebecca, they're amazing crew. But you picked the boat, which is great. So I'll put a hold on it, which means it's a temporary hold. It's not confirmed, and this gives us time to get together a signed contract from the client and deposit to book the boat.
Okay, so you in the hold usually what, like a week or two? Like how long is a hold?
A week or two for the hold, yeah.
So you've got the hold in place, but you haven't confirmed it yet because you haven't done the contract or deposit. What happens if somebody else comes along and they say, I just have to have this boat on these dates?
Yeah, absolutely. A boat can be challenged during a hold, and what that means is I and my clients have 48 hours to get together the signed contract and the deposit into escrow to change it from a hold to a confirmed booking.
So you've mentioned the deposit twice now, so far already, and I've got a couple of just quick questions on that. How much of the charter fee is due up front? Like, how does that all work, the deposit?
It's based on how soon the charter is. So if you're, booking in like 2-year advance or something like that, 25% of the charter fee, a little bit closer, about a year or so, it's going to be 50%. And sometimes we get last minute charters and the guests, it's just what's expected is the actual entire charter amount.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So like 90 days out, you're paying the whole amount. But if
Yeah.
it's more than 6 months, you only might be paying
Like 50%
Okay.
of the charter fee.
All right, now that makes sense. So with this deposit, do you just mail the check down to Captain Ron in the Caribbean, or like where does the deposit go? Like what happens there?
Yeah, you mail it to Laura. It's Lau. No, just kidding. It actually goes to our Denison escrow department, and they hold on to these funds until it's time to send it down to the central agent, and this is who manages the boat. So for first-time charters, I know it's like a little nerve-wracking. Oh my gosh, we just wired 25 grand to this random account that Laura gave us, but I promise it's safe in the Denison escrow account.
And Denison's a licensed and bonded yacht brokerage firm in the state of Florida. So hopefully that gives some peace of mind there. Okay, so you've got the contract, you've got the deposit. Now it's a confirmed booking, and that boat is your boat on those dates. That's pretty much
nobody can challenge it, and you've got the boat.
Okay, awesome. So let's just say we booked the boat today. Today's July 26th or whatever that is, and we're going on a Valentine's Day charter in February. What kind of happens between now and when the boat, like I actually get on the boat to go on my charter?
Basically up until about a month and a half before the charter starts, I'll send a preference sheet to my clients, and what this is, it's a way for me to extract information on and it's really for the crew. It's not necessarily for me, but it helps the crew know what you want to eat, what you like, what you don't like, how you want your eggs in the morning, what time you want to wake up. Do you want to have a special type of whiskey on board? Are you celebrating a birthday? How do you want to spend your day? Or is your group maybe like, oh, we just want to chill in the water and like have drinks? Or do you want to go hiking? It's really a breakdown of how you want to spend each day on your yacht charter.
So, I mean, like when you pair the boats, you already have a pretty good idea of the right boat based on that conversation. But this information is almost more so for the crew than anything else. So they can see that like sunbathing is a priority, or beach bars are a priority, or hiking's a priority, that sort of thing, correct?
Right. It's for the crew and for the guests, for everybody's expectations to be all on the same page.
So just like a quick tangent kind of on the preference sheets. When I used to run catamaran charters in the Bahamas, the preference sheet is so critical for the overall experience. We had one charter where one of the guests, there's a 6-passenger charter, one of the guests filled in the preference sheet without consulting any of the other guests, and put in their dietary preference. So no onion, no garlic, no bacon. So it made it really difficult for us to kind of plan the meals around that, my chef and I. And, lunchtime the second day, we could kind of pick up on the guests' energy that they just weren't all that thrilled with the experience so far. And so, I talked with them on this, a couple of the charter guests on the side, only to find out it was one of them that had filled in the preference sheet, not everybody as a group. So luckily we were able to pull an audible on the meal plan, kind of pull it together and get it back together. And, that's why, the preference sheet for the crew, from the crew perspective, is like absolutely like critical. You would agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And what I recommend, especially if you're doing a charter with like a group of friends as opposed to a family charter, is to maybe have a Friday night, dinner, have everybody over at the house and really go through the preference sheet together. Because not only is it like, too excited about this cool vacation you're going to do, but it's going to avoid any of these issues.
Yeah. No, we were very lucky there was provisioning in that part of the Bahamas, because it was bit frustrating. So listen to Laura on that one for the preference sheet. Your crew will love you for that. Okay, so now the preference sheet's into the crew. At what point do the crew talk to the guests, and what is that kind of initial interaction like?
The crew will generally contact the guests, a couple weeks before their charter, and it's generally with like a welcome letter, like via email. And this is just to kind of say, hey, we're super excited to have you. Here's some suggestions on what to pack for this charter. Tips like don't bring a hard-sided suitcase. Make sure it's a soft duffel bag, because it's a boat. Storage is limited, and don't worry about like a hair dryer, or we've got shampoo, we've got sunscreen. Don't leave all that stuff at home, and this is what you should pack versus not pack.
Okay, no, that makes sense. So you've gotten the preference sheet in. The clients have talked to the crew. Everybody's been just super excited in anticipation of like what's happening next. So it's 11:30 in the morning. They get out of the airport in St. Thomas, as an example. Like, what happens from the moment they step off the airplane until they actually board the yacht?
I'll generally have transportation, or usually it's up to the clients how they want to do it. Some people like to fly in, a couple days before and do their own thing before the charter, but I'll arrange transportation. So there's a guy there who's got your name on a sign. He's just at baggage claim. You're not, wandering through people or in the parking lot like a deer in headlights looking for somebody. He's there. He's got cold water in the car, beer. He's there to take care of you, get your bags, and get you on your way to the boat. So taxi driver will pick you up, and he brings you right to the boat, and from there you've got your crew standing on dock with cold drinks in their hands and a cold towel.
So like Laura just made that all sound like really seamless, but whenever she's got charter start dates, she's like on her phone with the captain and the taxi driver, this guy named Prince in St. Thomas is a good example, frantically texting between the taxi driver and the crew, and the crew and the taxi driver are all texting. And, she made it sound like quite a seamless exchange from the airport to the yacht. But, you do put a lot behind the scenes, because, that's the thing. You can't control somebody's vacation, when they're not on the island. But from the moment they step out of that airport till they drop back off at the airport, you can control the experience. And it's supposed to be a 5-star experience, right?
Exactly. It's supposed to be a vacation. So, I don't want you to think about anything from the moment you step off that plane, and neither do your crew. So I'm in touch with the taxi driver, making sure he's where he's supposed to be, and I'm in touch with the captain the day of charter start date to make sure everything's going off without a hitch.
So that's kind of the whole booking process from the initial contact until you actually step on the boat. We really appreciate everybody taking the time, all the emails in. This is usually where I say, shoot me an email, leave me a comment down below. And if you like what I have to say, hit the subscribe button. Still will do all of those things. But if your question is charter related, like I promise you, Laura knows a heck of a lot more about it than I do. So direct those questions to her. And, it's the vacation of a lifetime. So, chat with her if you're interested in doing it. We're going to do at the end of this series a Q&A from all of your questions. One question we have had is, about the cost associated, starting at 20 grand. There are some boats available for under 20 grand, but for the most part, it's always kind of 20 grand and up. But she did this. You have that spreadsheet you did where you did a price comparison between doing like an all-inclusive yacht charter and a number of different vacations, and it's pretty amazing how much value for dollar you get in this type of vacation versus some of the other types of vacations out there. So anyways, if you have any questions, shoot Laura an email, leave a comment down below. And as always, if you like what I have to say, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thanks and have a good day.